Hey, hopefully we're broadcasting.
Hopefully we are. Yeah, it'd be great if we were.
Very
We're
good.
trying this again, and looks like we are broadcasting.
All right.
You know, our last broadcast, what we did was we talked about resolutions,
Yep.
how to make successful resolutions,
Yep.
and the art of successful resolutions. And now we're going to move that into making resolutions from a financial perspective. You know, more than money ministries,
Yeah.
everything financial from a biblical point of view. So let's take what we learned or what we may have gleaned from our previous broadcast and utilize it to help us find resolutions that may actually improve your life now and forever.
Yeah.
Until the day you die. And oftentimes financial resolutions can do that. And I've found that over the years, the last 30 some years of actually being a financial advisor in the industry, helping people, that when their finances get more and more in order, there's more peace, there's more joy. And there's just little things that can do that for you.
Yeah.
And at first some things seem almost negative that we're going to talk about, but they're very positive. It's kind of like, monsters in the closet. They're not really there. You may lose a lot of sleep worrying about it until you open the closet and see there's not one there.
That makes sense.
So we're going to talk about those kind of things. Are you with me? Maybe you'll find something out of these 3 or 4 different ideas that you might want to incorporate that are in alignment with your life goals, your life values, and God's goal for your life. And if so, maybe you'll find some peace and joy moving forward.
Yeah.
So for the first resolution, let's just tackle one that nobody wants to tackle ever.
I don't want to talk about it.
And that's start doing your taxes as soon as possible. Say
Fun,
what?
fun,
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, joy. Say what? Why would somebody make that as a resolution? Well, way too often people wait until the very last minute, the last week, the last few days, the last hour to file their taxes.
Yeah.
And they say, I file a short form anyway, so it doesn't matter, all right? It's not like I have a lot to worry about. But the reality is, if you would just consider digging in right away, the laws have changed, things have changed. You may be missing benefits or revenues that could be yours by the way you file or by not knowing that check this box or that box. So it's the government has gotten a lot more friendly on coaching people through it. There's programs out there. It might be worth starting to research, maybe buy a tax software program or find out which programs are online that are free if you have pretty simple taxes, but that'll guide you through it. Start looking now instead of waiting to the last minute. That's the key on that.
Yeah.
Also, if you start now, who knows, maybe the way you file taxes isn't the most efficient for you. Maybe you'll have in the next 3-4 months to start digging up those receipts from all the donations you made, or maybe you'll find that some things you've been doing, like the idea of starting that business for the last year, you started running around doing things. You could take car mileage, you could do things if you did a longer form instead of the short form or the simple form. So by starting now, you start getting organized, and then you don't have the panic, the stress, the anxiety that comes from waiting to the last minute. And also by doing your taxes early, you might find that there's certain actions you still can take that could lower your taxes.
Oh.
And one of them would be one of the number one resolutions every year dealing with finances is
They want to save more.
save more. So what if you could save some money, put some money away, and actually lower your taxes because you got the time to figure out how to dig up $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, whatever it is, to put in an IRA and maybe defer the taxes this year to the future for 30 or 40 years. So there are ways to do that, and if you start early, there can be peace and joy in doing it, and maybe even money.
So what, you'll miss the heart pounding that you give wait till last minute?
Save the heart pounding for a roller coaster or something worthwhile, jumping off a bridge, bungee jumping or something, Have you clarified? I'm glad I did
Got
too.
that bungee in there.
Yeah. How about this? How about this as one? How about you make a list of all your debts, your obligations, your outstanding loans. Just make a list of each one, but make it a very thorough list. Like if you have 5 credit cards, list all 5. List the balance on it. List the interest rate that you're paying on that.
Yeah.
List the minimum payment. And and then your mortgage, and then all these different things. Make a list of, and you're saying, Mark, I don't want to do that. I don't want to look at that monster. But, you know, a short story here. One of my favorite cartoons of all time, Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember that cartoon? It's really neat. At the beginning of the cartoon, there's this giant, the shadow of this humongous monster. It's as tall, the shadow is on the Empire State Building, and the monster is so big that the shadow encompasses from the bottom to the top of the Empire State Building. But then the camera shifts and it shows one mouse shining a light on the other mouse, and it making that monster. Well, we know from biblical readings and from life experience that often the things we fear are nothing more than giant shadows. And if you turn and face those fears and you realize they're just little mice that we can take care of, we can do this, and the fear goes away. There's also a couple of verses I'd like to share. There was one verse from Proverbs, Tim. I think you got that verse, don't you?
Yes. Proverbs 27:23. Be sure to know your condition of your flock.
Yeah, think about that. Why would God say we should know the condition of our flock? Well, if you're a farmer and you don't know the condition of your flock, then you don't know if some are sick or some are limping and some need help. And what happens is they end up wandering off and die, and things happen to them, and your revenues go down because you have less sheep and less reproduction for more sheep and less to sell and things like that. So you need to know the condition. And in that, there is peace.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah, you may have overwhelming amount of debt, or you may not. But if you do, if you turn and face that, and you know what your debts are, then it's not going to be as overwhelming, and it's not this nagging thing in the back of your head. It's like I don't know if I'm going to make it through the year. I don't know. Just not knowing brings anxiety and fear into your life. But by turning and seeing what you have, you may get through it a lot easier. Also, you may not be like over your head in debt. It might just be that debts over the holidays increased and stuff, and you're thinking about doing something in February or March or June that may increase your debt, but you didn't realize how much debt you really have altogether and how that is affecting your cash flows. So it may stop you from doing something that might just take you over the top and cause negative cash flows, and you have to cut back on your food, or cut back on the things that are important to you, like food, clothing, and shelter. So make a list of the outside, those debts, those loans, those other liabilities, and knowing what's there is always more peaceful than fearing what monsters might be in the closet. The bottom line is. And you also might save yourself from a future financial train wreck that was hidden in the cloud of confusion that has settled over you when you weren't paying attention. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And what's really interesting is I have found historically that when people realize the condition of their finances, oftentimes without even making a conscious decision, things start changing a little. Their mind starts wiring and getting in alignment with God's will for them on those kind of things.
It's funny you say that. I've experienced that a lot of my life. I actually remember years ago going months without checking my bank balance because I was terrified as to what was or wasn't in there. And, would just deposit checks and pray. And, after I checked it, wasn't as bad as I thought. It was still bad. But it was just still pretty bad. But wasn't as bad as I thought. And after actually getting a plan together on what I was going to do, how I was going to deal with my bank account, my finances, and where I wanted them to go, it wasn't as scary anymore. It was the first couple of months when I had to make changes and couldn't get McDonald's every day. But after that, like you said, it brought peace.
Which, by the way, that helped with your other resolution to
lose weight. Yeah.
And see how that works out?
Yeah.
Okay, one more. Let's do one more.
All right.
And this one's dear to my heart. It is part of my calling. It's what God called me to. And many years ago, over 20-some years, maybe 30 years ago, God called me to help people understand how they could invest without compromising their Christian beliefs. So how about this resolution? I will actively pursue an investment plan that is in alignment with my beliefs, my morals, and my faith in Jesus Christ. Think about the peace that'll bring you. The number one response I get from clients when they come into Integrity Investors, my investment firm,
Yeah.
and we help them to realize what they have now and help them to move their portfolio to be not only in alignment with their life goals, financial goals, but also in alignment with their faith, with their belief in Jesus Christ. When we show them what they're already invested in, what the companies they've partnered with by buying stocks, bonds, mutual funds, the abortion, pornography, immoral lifestyles, when we show them what they are participating in, the number one response is, I just didn't know. And because of that, they went blindly forward and actually, some people say supported the enemy with their investments. So wouldn't it be nice to have a sleep better knowing you're not funding the enemies of your values with your investments, you're not supporting immoral lifestyles or the promotion or profiting from immoral lifestyles or abortion or pornography. So if you have an IRA, if you have a 401k, if you have individual investments, consider this, that you can invest with integrity without compromising your Christian values or your returns.
Yeah.
And that will bring peace, and it will bring joy, because the majority of people I know who eventually make that move and say, I can invest without compromising my beliefs. I can invest in a way as an act of worship, like everything in our life should be. I can invest without funding the enemy or fueling or promoting ugly stuff through my investments. And by doing that, you'll sleep better, you'll find more peace and more joy. Fair enough?
Sounds good to me.
And if you need help with that, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Of course, you can go out to integrityinvestors.com, just type in your portfolio, and we'll do a free screening for it there. Or you can go down to the National Association of Christian Financial Consultants, that's NACSC.org, and they'll refer you to an advisor near you that can do it for you and also guide you in the investment process.
Yeah.
There's More Than Money Ministries. Right now, that site does not have the screening up, does it?
No, not right now.
It will be back up shortly, sometime hopefully within the first quarter. And with that said, these are simple resolution. Here's another one. Lord, change my heart. Change my heart that my finances would align with your goals for my life.
Yeah.
That one is something that you just make the resolution to pray that every now and then, maybe once a week, maybe every prayer time, and watch God change you from the inside out and start utilizing how you earn, what you earn, when you earn, how you spend, what you spend, where you spend, how you invest and save, what you invest and spend, and how you give. And the joy that comes when God says, well done, good and faithful servant. And with that, I do pray you have a great new year, and I look forward to more of these broadcasts. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, you can email them to
contact@mtmministry.com.
right.
You can comment on the Facebook page. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. There's all sorts of ways. And if you need to, you can always call 314-212-1405, and we're here.
That's 314-212-1405.
05.
And we'd be honored if you come up with ideas, things that would be important to you for us to address financially from a biblical point of view. Because we believe, and we hope that you are coming along with the idea that life is
So much more.
Then money.
God bless. Happy New Year's.
God bless.
Happy New Year.